Let me ask you something. Have you ever said yes when every part of you was screaming no, just to avoid the guilt of letting someone down? As empaths, it can feel like setting empath boundaries means being selfish or unkind. But here's the truth: your energy is sacred. And without boundaries, you risk losing yourself in the demands and emotions of others. Today, we'll tap into divine guidance to explore how you, as an empowered empath, can create boundaries that honor your light and keep guilt at bay. Ready to reclaim your power? Let's dive in.
Welcome to our channel. I'm Rain, with over 20 years of experience as an NLP practitioner, light worker, and channeler through divine inspiration, here to help you connect with your true self.
And I'm Mel, an empath, lightworker, and connector, passionate about guiding you to set boundaries and thrive.
Together, we bring you weekly tools and insights to support your empath journey.
If you're ready to deepen your connection with self, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Let's dive in. Why does protecting our energy sometimes feel like betraying someone else? And how can we shift that perspective?
So protecting our energy, from what we've been taught from a young age, to protect our energy means that we're going to isolate ourselves. That means we're not going to tune into other people's difficulties. We're not going to tune into their pain, and we're going to lose our empathetic nature. It also feels like the reason we may be betraying someone else is because we assume that this is us being selfish. And so this is how we're thinking as empaths. This is the program we have received. If I'm not feeling with my mom and my father, if I'm not feeling with my colleagues at work, if I'm not sensing how they're feeling so that I can monitor what I'm about to say, how I'm about to act, then I am being cruel and mean to them. I am unable to put myself in their shoes. And if I can't put myself in their shoes, then I won't empathize with them and I won't share with them my light. So then there's something wrong with me and my purpose. So we believe our purpose is to bring light to every being and to be compassionate and kind to everybody. So we betrayed them when we keep our light to ourselves. This is how we think, okay? I'm betraying them because I'm keeping the light to me when I'm supposed to share it. But this is a program we've been taught, right? And the way to shift that is to understand that that is just a program, meaning we have been taught that to share, you have a candy that you love and you go to school with it. And then you don't want to share it because this one candy is the thing you adore and you're so excited. But then you think it's really nice if you share that one candy. So basically you end up giving it to someone else, but you don't get a taste of it yourself. You aren't going to enjoy it. So this is perceived as a good person. So we're all programmed. I don't know if you all have the same upbringing, but basically share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is really good. So we don't stop at sharing just objects, empaths. We go even further. We're like, here, let me share my insights. Let me share my everything with you. And that's what actually is the program. Right? Because we don't have clear boundaries. We don't know the difference. No one taught us the difference between that and giving. So that's why it feels like a betrayal.
Ooh, I like how you said that. Okay. So why do us empaths often confuse boundaries with rejection?
Well, that's what's interesting. It's in that I don't understand boundaries. I love the question. Just followed up really well. So I don't understand boundaries, because I wasn't taught that, wait, there's a difference between sharing an object. Here, I'm going to share my lip gloss with you, right? And there's a difference between sharing myself, all of myself. The boundary is I can share myself. However, I'm allowed to also taste myself. So when we confuse that, so if my boundary is saying something like, no, this candy I have, this little candy that I have, I've been waiting all day to have it in my recess. I'm really excited about it. Maybe tomorrow I'll make sure to get a few more so I can share with you guys. This is a very clear boundary. I'm not rejecting their request. I'm going to offer them the candy, but maybe another day, but I'm going to also fulfill myself because this is something I was looking forward to. Right. So that's what a clear boundary could look like. It isn't rejecting someone. It's just gifting yourself something good that may not be great for someone else, but it's still good for you.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And we talk about we so desperately don't want to like reject somebody else and any of that. But in the meantime, a lot of times we reject ourselves. So I think if we can put ourselves as equals and pass and be like, okay, they really want this, but also I really want this. This is mine. I get first dibs, first choice, and just put ourselves like as equals and just give to ourselves first while also seeing if there's extra for them as well. If not, we're not responsible for them. They can go find their own treats or goodies or whatever it is. Okay. So, how can we embrace boundaries as an act of self love and mutual respect?
So boundaries is a very harsh word. It's a word that we've been using recently so intensely. So saying that I must have boundaries, I have to have clear boundaries when I don't have boundaries. And now boundaries has become an effort. It's something that we're putting great effort in to pull our energy back and not deplete it. But boundaries is effortless. So how can we start to do boundaries in a way that is self-loving? Basically, putting yourself on a pedestal. So I know as empaths, we put everyone on a pedestal. The perfect balance is to be an equal to everybody. However, because we're so down here, for at least like a month, try to put yourself on a pedestal. Okay? Try it out. It is going to trigger every button you possibly have. Okay? It is going to make you feel selfish. It's going to make you feel aggressive. It's going to make you feel mean and cruel. And you're going to feel all the feelings. Now, when you feel those feelings, write them down because we're all going to feel differently, but it's around the same ball game. So you're going to write those feelings down because you want to observe everything that is limiting you from being an equal to everyone because now you've put yourself above everyone. You're going to be so ashamed of yourself. When shame shows up, okay, I want you to just observe the shame. What am I so ashamed of? Am I really not that good? What is pulling me down? What is making me feel so bad about myself? All this exercise itself is self-loving because you are loving yourself through the shame and the guilt and all that. You're reading it out, you're writing it out, you're looking at it, and you have yourself on a pedestal. At some point, you're going to, because you can't maintain, as empaths, we can't maintain putting ourselves on a pedestal 24 hours a day. You're going to come back to a balance because you can't drop all the way down again because this feels foreign now. So now this will feel really foreign to have everybody on top of you. You're going to be like, and it'll feel really horrible to have everyone below you. So you're going to find the balance.
Oh, I love that. Okay, that's going to be a fun game to play. Challenge accepted. Let's go. All right, you empaths, you hear that? Let's play this week. And then I want to hear in the comments. I want to hear in the comments if you did this and how you felt, if it was super uncomfortable or if it was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Like, this would be a fun one to chat about. Okay, what wisdom does divine guidance offer about releasing guilt and trusting that saying no can be the most loving response?
So guilt, as we all know, is a very dark vibration. To feel guilty for existing. So a lot of empaths feel guilty for existing, feel guilty for expressing, feel guilty. Guilt is the main source of our light not shining out. So even if we are helping somebody and we're helping them through guilt, we're not really helping them, okay? Because we're not vibrating on a different energetic frequency to pour on them the love. Right? We've gone down to the energetic frequency and we're feeling really guilty. So we're vibrating like this to match theirs. And then we're offering from there, but we're not offering it. We're actually giving them the same thing we are feeling, which is guilt and shame. We're giving them more guilt and shame. Even if you're trying to change it through your words, they're vibrationally receiving your guilt and shame. So when we think, oh, but I'm giving them my light. And you know, if I can empathize with them and go down to where they're at and I'm empathizing, then they're going to feel really good, which is not the case at all. You're just giving them, you've tapped into your guilt and shame. That's the frequency you went down to. And now you're playing this game together. You're both ping-ponging this. So nobody's helping anyone. And definitely as an empath and light worker, nobody's helping anyone. So divine guidance is saying no and trusting that no is keeping you at your vibration. How do you know that that's your vibration? That's the highest vibration you can reach that day or that moment, is that you feel good inside about the thing you're saying no about. If it feels good inside, like, no, I really don't want to go to that restaurant today. I really don't. But I feel so guilty because I've never told this person no, and this is the first time they've asked me, and they're really sad. And so now you're giving excuses. You're convincing yourself to go. What are you doing? You're pulling your vibration down so that you can talk yourself enough into guilt and shame so that you can match their frequency to make them feel better. But you and your no, you're feeling really good. Like, I really don't want to be there. I really don't want to hold space today. I really don't want to do that for that person. This no that you're hearing for that thing is your actual guidance system. Does that make sense?
Yes. Whoa. Yeah, I was just having some like light bulb thing moments going on there and head explosions. Okay, so I want to know too, as we're giving this gift to ourselves, there was, anyways, multiple things that came up. But as we're giving this gift to ourselves, trusting our intuition of just being like, we're enough, we deserve to have what we want to have. Do you feel like at the same time as we're giving the gift to ourselves, that it's also rippling and it's in their highest good as well? Or is it not necessarily, and it doesn't matter, that's not our responsibility? Or is us giving us what we want and need truly in the highest good for us as well as them?
It's definitely on the highest good for them. But this isn't for, because empaths will always do that. We want to make sure it's also good for them. It's 100% great for them. First, they're going to learn how to say no themselves because they're going to see an example of it. And then they'll be like, aha. So we usually do this with narcissists when we're accompanying, we're an energetic field of a narcissist. We admire how easily they say no, how easily they choose not to do something, how easily they have an opinion, and they don't feel any remorse or guilt about sharing it. So the reason we are attracted as empaths to narcissists, we are attracted to the version of them that can stand in what they want and never be swayed by anyone else. They will stand in that truth. If an empath has that ability to say no according to their inner goodness, their inner well-being, mastering this, can you imagine what another empath will receive from that? Now, they're not observing a narcissist doing it and receiving it from that empty void. They're observing an empath do that from a powerful place.
Oh, nice. Okay. I like that. Yeah, because I just know I've had some experiences before where I was like, okay, I'm going to speak, like, I'm going to say what I actually want. And I'm pretty sure it goes against at least what this person that's more vocal wants, like in a group. And I say it. And then I've had, a couple of the like friends in the group or whatever come back after and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you said that. Cause I really didn't want to go like to that other restaurant. It was going to be too expensive or too far, whatever it is. And I'm like, I'm so glad you said that because I way prefer this other one. In fact, everyone was like, oh yeah, you know? And so anyways, it's just fun seeing the after effect too of people that do speak up that are too afraid. I realize there's so many of us, especially women and empaths, that are afraid to speak and say what we need and we want because we so desperately just want to make everybody else happy. So, okay.
Yeah. So it's like, it's that beautiful confirmation of, even if I don't have a result, which I'd love that you had, because that's a confirmation. But if you don't have a result of my no being good for everyone, I need to trust, like blind faith and trust that someone somehow has benefited from my no, because this is
Yeah.
the highest and best good for me. And I'm not the only one, me, that exists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and I love knowing that it's like really not even because I always go to everybody else, but the truth is it really doesn't matter anyways. I just naturally like, ooh, if it can benefit me and ripple to everyone, that's cool. I would love that. Like that's just an extra like excitement and perk. So I try to like add that in if I can, like bonus points, get my brownie points where I can. But the truth is, we matter. Our voice matters. If we're feeling something, we should speak it. Like we should ask for what we need and what we want and just know it's other people's responsibility to figure out their own voice and their process. But if we're figuring it out, just to own it and practice it because that's hard to do. And again, like you said, that's a huge example that the world and us need to see and hear.
So what I just heard is don't settle for less, meaning we are so used to settling for less in everything possible. And I'm hearing Don't ever settle for less. Less meaning, if I have something up here that I really want this thing, and I settle for something even a little bit, 10% less than what I have envisioned, then I've already killed my boundaries. I've killed them. Okay. So it's being brave to settle for exactly what that intuitive nudge from divinity is telling you to do. It's like your higher self saying, say no today. Say no to that shirt. You wanted to buy that shirt so bad, but you had a vision of how it looks like, and you found something very close, but it's not the shirt. Don't buy that shirt. Don't settle for less, because that's also a boundary. It's a boundary between us and us also.
I love that because there's a lot of times too where I am like, I really want this thing, but then I'm like afraid to say it. But there's a lot of times where I just don't care. The truth is, I just love being with my people. And the truth is, I legit like food everywhere. So I don't care what restaurant we go to. But there's some times where I'm like, I do have a preference. And so it's not like we're always going to be controlling or demanding or need something. And knowing that like we flow, especially as empaths, we naturally just flow. And it's like, but if there's something we want, since we're usually so easy and we just like being around our people, then just freaking ask for it, get it, and know it's going to be the best for you. And the truth is, probably it's going to ripple to several other people of your friends that couldn't use their voice and speak up. So, okay, this is cool. I like it. And to not settle. Okay, we just ask whatever we want. We're the creators of our world. Let's freaking take it. Let's do this. Let's have fun. Okay, what wisdom does divine guidance have for us empaths struggling to recognize when our boundaries are being crossed, especially by those closest to us?
Oh, okay. So the closest people to you are your boundary settings. So they're there to actually help you. They're there for your highest and best good. They're there to teach you, because if you can do it with them, you can do it with anyone. Because the mantra you'll end up having, the belief you'll start to develop, the truth that you'll start to see is, oh my God, I had a boundary with my father who I was terrified of. I could do this with anyone. Like I've crossed, like with parents, with friends, with a partner, with your own children. When you do that, when you cross that boundary, when you put it out really clearly, the coolest thing happens because so much fear shows up and you're terrified. You're like, can't do this. Can't do this. I'm terrified. I'm terrified. I'm terrified. And plop, you pop through the bubble and it happens and you've done the thing. And there's a different way of feeling right after that. Anyone you come across, it's so irrelevant because you've done the biggest thing possible for yourself. That's the gift you've given yourself, the freedom to have your own clear boundaries for yourself and asking others to respect it by just believing in those boundaries. And it's like, I value my boundaries so much. You don't have to learn how to respect them. I don't care about how you respect them, but I'm going to keep respecting them every time it shows up.
Mm, okay, I love that. How can sensitive souls navigate the pain of disappointing others without compromising our own energy and well-being?
So what I'm hearing is disappointing others is actually, it's weird, it's upside down, but the only reason we feel people's disappointment is because we are disappointed. So disappointment lives within us. I'm disappointing myself, right? So when I'm sensing somebody else's pain because I've said my no, right? And my no feels really good inside, but I've disappointed them. I feel their pain now. It's not really their pain. That's the interesting part. You're feeling somebody's pain and somebody's disappointment. Okay. But it's really weird what I'm hearing, but it's yours. So this pain and disappointment is actually yours. You're disappointed in yourself for disappointing someone. You're feeling upset with yourself and feeling the pain because you've done something not good for someone else. It's more about you than them, that emotion. So when that emotion arises and you're believing that you're feeling, it really could be theirs, but in that moment that you stand up for your light, that disappointment is you feeling it about yourself. You're disappointed in you. How do we shift that? You simply start to mother yourself during this. So, oh my God, oh, I'm so upset with myself. I was so cruel there. I said, no, it's okay. You're allowed to be cruel. You're allowed to be mean. That's okay. I forgive you. You're forgiven. It's okay. You haven't disappointed me. You stood up for me. Thank you. Thank you for standing up for me. Thank you for taking care of me. You're just going to do this. You're going to mother yourself during. You're going to thank that person who feels, oh my God, you're just going to thank her so much for actually standing up for you, taking care of you, and listening to that intuition where it guided you, okay, to finally just be like, oh, here, I exist. That's the way.
Is it actually like when you said it's okay to be cruel, it's okay to be mean? Like, is that actually the case? Like, is it actually cruel to be no, or is that not even the right word? Is it like, no, it's okay to say no, and it's not cruel. In fact, it's self love. Like, does those words even need to be tweaked, or is it
No,
cruel and we need to say it's okay to be cruel?
it's okay to be cruel because it's not
Okay.
real. It's not real. Remember the versions of us that are speaking within our bodies right now believe that you're saying no to someone is the cruelest thing in the world. Okay? You haven't actually murdered someone to say, that's okay. You can murder someone. That's fine. Right? You're saying there's a belief in your body that's like, oh, that is so mean and cruel. You are so unlovable. You are so unloving. Something's wrong with you. You want to tell that it's okay if you're cruel. I accept your cruelty. I accept that you are cruel. You
Uh,
can be cruel with me around. That's okay. You can be
uh,
disappointed with me around. So you're not resisting or trying to sweet talk anything. You are taking all that emotional jabber we have about ourselves that make us feel yucky, and you're loving it and saying, "Yep, yep, yep. Feel cruel. That's okay. I love you anyway."
Oh, I love that. And that gets rid of the judgment, which judgment is built up so much in so many of us. And that's what causes wars and fighting and all this is judgment, thinking I'm right, you're wrong. And that kind of squashes that. It's like there isn't a right or a wrong. It's just a feeling. It just is. And it's like, yes, we're all of it. Cool. Like, cool. Someone says you're a liar, you're a this, you're dumb. Like, okay, okay. Like conversation's over. But as soon as you get defensive and be like, oh, no, I'm not cruel. I'm not a liar. Then the fight begins and the energy exchange, the waste of energy. And it's like, freaking who cares? But if you can just come back and be like, yep, sometimes I am cruel. Sometimes I am a liar. I lie to myself a lot. I've learned that in my life. I don't mean to. I'm not intentionally trying to lie, but I do. And when I lie to myself, it means I lie to you. So my bad. Love you.
Exactly. But the conversation now is only between me and me.
Yeah.
So it's me telling myself I'm cruel and me telling that version you can be.
Yeah.
And I love you for it. Like, I love your cruelty. You're like, oh. So this is, if you can visualize what happens. So I'm telling myself, you're so cruel. You said no, you've hurt them, you've disappointed them. What is wrong with you? And I'm like, "Ah, I'm allowed to disappoint them. I'm allowed to be cruel. You're allowed to be cruel, my love, and disappoint others. I love you anyway. You're still loved, no matter how cruel you are. What happens to that version? She's like, I'm allowed? I'm allowed? Cruelty ends because
Wow.
there's no resistance against it or trying to like sugarcoat it or trying to shift it or anything. There's just you're allowed.
Yeah, it does. The energy just drops. And it's that whole motto of what we resist persists. That's one way of saying it. There's lots of different ways of saying it. But yeah, it just, there's no more energy to put in that. So then it's like, wow, I have all this freed up energy. Where should I go put it? Maybe I create something beautiful. Go have fun. Oh, I love that. So, how can we reframe this as a necessary act of self love and alignment with our divine purpose?
Changing the dialogue, changing the language is whatever version of me shows up to tell me something shitty about myself, okay, to oppress me, to dim me, to make me feel worse about who I am, that version of me has never been loved. The version that's showing up has never been loved. Okay? Doesn't know what that is, has never experienced it. Don't forget, our higher self has experienced unconditional love. Our essence has. The human ego, the human body we're in, has never experienced it. We are here to offer it an experience of unconditionality. So in that version of us, and there are so many different versions that pop up and are talking shit about you to you, you are going to pour on it unconditional love. You are teaching it. You are giving it an experience it has never tasted, felt, or been a part of. It doesn't even know it exists. So if it comes up where you have a boundary and you're saying no to someone, and the version of you shows up and says, oh my God, that was mean. That was so mean. That version of you has never experienced unconditional love. It's the opportunity, because this is how you feel really on purpose. It's that one opportunity when it shows up. That's why no is so important. That you're like, oh, mean. Oh my God, you can be mean. I love you anyway. I love you anyway. I love you anyway. Unconditional love. Just loving it. It could be a mass murderer. I'm loving it. It could be horrible. I'm loving it. I'm loving her no matter what. I love you no matter what. Does
Wow,
that make
that's
sense?
powerful. Yeah, that's really powerful. Okay, how can light workers maintain compassion and connection while standing firm in our boundaries, even in the face of pushback and judgment from others?
So, a lot of times, what we can do is, as a light worker or empath, before making that call, before meeting that person, you just stand a little bit in your own light. You could be scared, you could be terrified, you could be anything, doesn't matter. You're going to give yourself a few seconds to stand in your light and say, I ask divine creator of all to speak through me right now. Okay? You take over this. Now, if you're in the presence of someone and they just flip on you, which happens a lot, you're like, oh, like, la, 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 and then they say something and it's like they've crossed a boundary. They've disrespected you, right? And the first reaction is you want to attack back, or you want to feel bad, or you want to apologize. Something is happening. You're about to do something, but someone has crossed your boundary. The best way, okay, to still have compassion and connect to that person, because I'm sure you're also feeling their pain and you're like, oh my God, that's their inner wound and their inner child and their mom did and their dad did. We're going to go through all this mess, right? And so you're going to back out. So you're going to let go of your boundaries. It's okay. They can disrespect me. There's just this moment because I know they're not, it's coming from a place of wounding, right? We give up immediately on ourselves. You stand still in that light you did a few minutes ago. You stand still and you pour light from divinity on you. It's as if you're going to shield yourself. You're not going to say a single word. You're not going to take any action. You're going to notice the trigger and how you want to react. Okay. You're going to notice that reaction. And you're going to be super kind to both parties, yourself and that person. You're either going to walk away or you're just going to stand in utter stillness, and or you can come up with, usually what I do is I give my clients like a sentence they can come up with to empower them, and they can just always repeat it if they ever feel in this in the presence of someone that's making feel less of themselves. They've been disrespected. They can't say their no. Like, I'll think about it. Let me get back to you. I'm not ready to have this discussion. Or if the person's saying something like, you are selfish and I cannot believe you're not blah, 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 whatever, you'd be like, you know what? I am selfish. You know what? Like, completely take all that in. Okay. Don't argue back and be like, I'm not selfish. You know what I did yesterday for you? I made that call. None of that. You take it all in and be like, okay, from your perspective, I'm selfish. From your perspective, I only think of myself. From your perspective, this, I'm fine with that. And then you go and you take care of yourself. So you haven't argued. You haven't put them down. You've just checked yourself. You've given that sentence that you really came up with and liked. They can honor themselves, you can honor yourself. So this is a state of honoring. Boundaries is very much, it's an honoring state. I honor myself and I honor you. That's what it is.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I love that. What is the spiritual significance of boundaries for empaths and sensitive souls?
Okay, think of your boundaries as your auric field. So that's how I visualize it. It's an auric field, okay? When the auric field is squishing on me, okay, then my boundaries have vanished. That means I don't exist anymore. Like, I'm not important. I'm being squished. I'm contracted. When my auric field is wide and spacious, I matter as much as everyone else, and I can give everyone else their space as I'm giving myself my space. So If somebody's coming to talk to me and their aura is like really tight on them, they have no boundaries, but I have mine clearly set, they will have to expand into theirs. Narcissists want to get into your auric field. They want to suck it like a balloon, like a, right? They want to take it because they can't form their own. Okay. Because their boundaries are coming from rage and anger and like, I'm going to show her, I'm going to show him, whatever. But so the significance spiritually is that my boundary is my auric field. It could have a tear. It could have a hole here. It's my job on a spiritual level to constantly be clear on my auric field, to have it smoothed out, to have any parts. Why? Because this is the light of divinity that keeps feeding me. I need to be fed here on the planet constantly, right? And this energetic bubble, auric field around me is the one feeding me. It's sustaining my soul to constantly be in a space of fulfillment. Is that making sense?
Okay. Yeah. Really cool. Okay. And then my follow-up question with that, so my last question, how can we use this practice that you're just kind of discussed to expand our light and fulfill our soul's purpose?
Auric field, that bubble around us, that is our boundaries, that is differentiating me from my environment, where I don't have to pick up their energy. I don't have to feel. Don't forget your auric field, let's say that bubble of boundary you have, you don't have to absorb the person's energy inside of you to do anything anymore. Their energetic bubble touches your energetic bubble and you will receive the vibrational information. Okay? You don't have to take it on anymore. You can just hear the vibrational information, which is the safest way to actually be as an empath, because I don't want to take on their energy anymore. I don't have any place. I don't want to clutter my life, my inner being. So when I have that intact, I can help millions, if not billions of people. One empath with their boundaries clearly set can help billions of people around the world. Okay? Blow up like a blowfish and have their own boundaries are clearly there. Okay? And boundaries doesn't mean I'm rejecting others. It means I am expanding myself to give permission for others to expand.
Ooh.
If I can do it, everyone else can do it.
Wow.
So that is our life purpose. So boundaries are really, really important. We just need to give it another name, and it could be my energetic bubble. This is my energetic bubble. This is my survival. This is our oxygen. For light workers, this light is our oxygen, because when we don't have enough of it, when we're not taking care of it, we go into doubt, into guilt, into shame. Why? Because the energy is so tight on us that if anybody's crossing our path, even if they're not that close, it could be from a different room or the neighbor, but their energy is penetrating. It's touching me. It's getting too close that now I'm in their energetic field. I don't want to be in anyone's energetic field. I want to keep pumping mine up, but I also want to feel how everyone else is feeling. It can just rub on my energetic field.
Ooh. I like that. Wow. Okay. So remember, dear empath, boundaries are not walls. They're bridges to deeper self-love and authentic connections. And protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's an act of honoring your divine light and protecting it. Take this as your permission to say no without guilt and yes to your well-being. You've got this. Remember your power, dear empath. You are the light this world needs. It's just remembering that, remembering who you are. Just by being yourself, you bring incredible gifts to this planet. And to support you, we've just created something special. We've been working on this for a little while. It's just a quick 3-minute daily ritual to help you check in with your energy and uncover what feels off and gain insights to release any blocks that are holding you back. So use this for a week and watch your intuition strengthen, your boundaries sharpen, honoring yourself, and your self-love grow. So we've attached this as a link in the description. So please go to that link, click on that, take your free gift, and go through that. And we'd love to hear in the comments too how that's affected you as you practice this process. Just do it daily. It's simple, but it's very profound just for you. So, and we also want to be YouTube friends with you. So please, if you like this episode, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed our content. And then subscribe now for weekly episodes designed to uplift and inspire you. And let's talk in the comments. So, what's the biggest challenge that you face when trying to set boundaries? And we'd love to hear from you. And then make sure to check out our next episode. See you next week.